The supermarket buzzed like a beehive gone wild, neon lights reflecting off rows of polished tiles, shopping carts rattling like thunder across the floor, and a chorus of voices rising and falling in a constant, chaotic symphony. Kids whined for candy, parents negotiated over cereal brands, workers shouted for cleanup on aisle 5. It was the kind of loud, busy place where people got swallowed by the crowd, where one little girl could vanish without anyone noticing. Except one person did. 7-year-old Lily walked stiffly beside a tall man in a dark hoodie, his large hand clamped tightly around her wrist. He didn't look like a father buying groceries with his child. He didn't speak to her, didn't smile, didn't slow down when she stumbled. Lily's face was blotchy, like she'd cried herself out 2 stores ago. Her shoes were mismatched, one sneaker, one sandal, and she had no coat despite the chilling rain outside. Anyone paying close attention would have felt that something was wrong. But most people were too absorbed in price tags and shopping lists to see it. Officer Daniels wasn't. He was off duty, technically, but still wearing his uniform because his shift had ended late and he'd swung by the supermarket for a quick energy drink before heading home. He leaned casually against a shelf in the produce section, scanning the crowd with the practiced alertness that had long become second nature. Years of patrolling had taught him to read body language like a second language. And Lily's was screaming. Her eyes darted around desperately, not like a kid bored with shopping, but like someone looking for rescue. She didn't tug away like a misbehaving child, she froze, rigid, calculating. Then, in a moment so small it could have easily gone unnoticed, she turned her head slightly, locking eyes with Daniels. Something flickered between them, plea, recognition, fear, hope. Then she did it, her hand lifted slightly, close to her chest so the man wouldn't see. She blinked twice slowly, and held up 3 fingers. Daniel's grip tightened around his drink can. He knew that signal. It was part of a child safety campaign that had rolled through local schools recently, an emergency rescue gesture taught to children when verbal cries for help weren't safe. Blink twice. 3 fingers. Silent distress. Lily had just asked for help without saying a word. Daniel's heart kicked into overdrive. His mind didn't question, didn't doubt, didn't waste time debating if he'd misread it. Training and instinct merged. He placed his drink gently on the shelf, straightened, and began following them, keeping a safe distance, pretending to browse. Lily noticed. Subtly, she dragged her hand along the shelves they passed, brushing boxes of cereal, packets of pasta, bags of marshmallows, a trail. Breadcrumbs. Proof she was guiding him. She wasn't just scared, she was smart. Daniel's jaw clenched. Whoever had taken her had no idea they'd walked right into the wrong supermarket at the wrong time. That little girl had reached out like a warrior trapped in silence. And he wasn't going to let her cry for help go unanswered. The man tightened his grip on Lily's wrist as they neared the back of the store, where the noise of the crowd faded beneath the dull hum of the refrigerator units. He glanced over his shoulder, paranoid, noticing nothing unusual, just customers pushing carts, scanning shelves, minding their own business. But Lily knew someone was watching. She could feel it. She didn't dare look back again, but her little fingers trembled as she brushed them against every item she could reach, praying the officer was still behind them. Daniel stayed far enough not to raise suspicion but close enough to react in seconds. His pulse thundered in his ears as he discreetly pressed the emergency button on the side of his radio. He was off duty, but his radio was still active, always was. His voice was low, steady. Dispatch, this is Officer Daniels, badge 4176. Possible child abduction in progress at Westside Market. I'm following a male, tall, dark hoodie, Caucasian, possibly mid-40s. Child appears distressed, request immediate backup, quiet approach, copy that, units en route, came the response. Daniels slowed his steps as they entered the beverages aisle. The air felt colder there somehow. The man suddenly stopped and knelt beside Lily, gripping her shoulders this time. His voice was a harsh whisper. Stop dragging your feet, you're making a scene. I want my mom, she whimpered, not quite crying, but loud enough. You keep quiet, or... He didn't get to finish. Daniels didn't rush in recklessly. He walked forward like he was just another shopper considering the bottled water. Then he spoke, firm but casual. Afternoon. Everything all right here? The man's head snapped up. For a split second, panic flashed in his eyes but was quickly smothered beneath a forced grin. Yeah, officer. Just taking my niece home. She's cranky. Lily's eyes met Daniels, silent again, but louder than any scream. She shook her head, slowly, deliberately. Daniel's voice hardened. What's her name? The man hesitated. Too long. Emily. Lily didn't blink. Daniels took one more step. Let go of her. The man stood abruptly, tugging Lily closer, backing up slowly. Look, I don't want trouble. It's a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, Daniels said. Then everything exploded. The man bolted. He yanked Lily as hard as he could, trying to break into a sprint while dragging her along. Lily stumbled, nearly falling, crying out in pain. Daniels launched forward like a bullet, slamming into the man's side. They crashed into a pyramid of soda bottles, sending them clattering across the floor like thunder. Shoppers screamed and jumped aside. Lily crawled backwards, hands shaking. The man thrashed, wild and desperate. Let me go. She's mine. Daniels wrestled him to the ground, locking the man's arm behind his back with practiced precision. You lay one more finger on her, and you'll be wishing I wasn't the first one to find you, he growled, slapping the cuffs on. Sirens wailed outside. Backup had arrived. Lily sat frozen, breathing fast. Her rescuer stood, breathless, between her and the man like an unbreakable wall. He didn't look like just a cop. He looked like hope. The moment the cuffs clicked shut, the kidnapper's resistance crumbled. His head hung as two arriving officers hauled him to his feet and dragged him toward the exit with none of the gentleness that Daniels had used with Lily. A few customers, phones out, recorded the scene from behind overturned displays. Someone muttered, "Thank God that cop was here." Another whispered, "That little girl, she saved herself." But Lily didn't hear any of it. She sat with her knees pulled to her chest beside the crushed soda bottles, hands trembling uncontrollably. Daniels knelt down slowly, careful not to startle her. "Hey," he said softly, voice no longer firm or commanding, just warm. "You're safe now." Lily blinked up at him, tears gathering again but not falling. Are you real?" Daniels gave a small smile. "Last time I checked." She let out a shaky breath, relief washing over her like a wave. He held out his hand, palm up, not grabbing, not demanding. Just offering. She hesitated for a moment before placing her tiny hand in his. A paramedic approached, kneeling beside them. "Mind if I take a quick look at her, officer?" Daniels glanced at Lily. "Is that okay?" She nodded, but only if she could keep holding his hand. The paramedic gently checked her pulse, looked for bruising, spoke to her in a soft voice. "You did so good, sweetheart. You were so brave." A few feet away, the kidnapper shouted from the door, "She's lying. I know her. She's..." One officer shoved him into the squad car before he could finish. Daniel's muscles tensed, but he kept his focus on Lily. "Forget him," he said quietly. "He's not coming near you again." The store manager hurried over with a stuffed bunny from the display rack. "For her," he said, voice trembling. "On the house." Lily hugged it instantly, burying her face in its fur. For the first time since he'd seen her, Daniels watched her shoulders relax, just a little. Minutes later, the automatic doors slid open and a woman sprinted in, wild-eyed, hair disheveled, breathless. Lily's head shot up. "Mom." Her mother crashed to her knees, scooping her daughter into the tightest, most desperate embrace a human heart could produce. She sobbed uncontrollably into Lily's hair. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I looked away for 1 second. Lily clung to her. "It's okay, Mommy. I found a police." Her mother looked up through tears at Daniels. Gratitude and disbelief flooded her face all at once. She wanted to speak but couldn't. Words failed her. Daniels nodded gently. She saved herself. I just listened. A crowd had gathered now, watching quietly, not from curiosity, but respect. Some clapped softly, others simply wiped their eyes. As Lily's mother carried her toward the exit, Lily looked back over her mom's shoulder. "Will I see you again?" she asked. Daniels smiled. "Anytime you need me." She held up 3 fingers, the signal she once used in fear. This time, she used it as a thank you.